I think very upbeat. I think people are excited. We got a lot of work to do, but in some ways, it can be liberating to be in the minority. You don't have any responsibility to govern. You can return to first principles, which I think we needed to do. And whether it's in history or in one's profession or in politics or in the Bible, a wilderness experience sometimes is a cleansing one.
Speaking of wilderness,
and I think we'll find that to be the case.
Speaking of wilderness, we have the so-called stimulus bill. If Ralph Reed got to write the stimulus bill, what would be at the forefront of that legislation?
I think it would have been 0% capital gains for 18 to 24 months to help encourage economic transactions and activity. I think that would have helped revive the real estate market, because if you buy a house at the bottom and then it comes back, all of that gain would not be taxed. I think that's number one. Number two, I would have done some kind of individual tax cut, and I would not have had an objection to a properly targeted, well thought out infrastructure spending program to help rebuild the network that we need for economic growth. That would have been it. I think it would have been a maximum of half of what they ultimately did, $400 billion, and it probably would have been less.
Final question. You've dealt with issues, advocacy groups, grassroots across the country. What advice do you have for a group like American Future Fund and our members, and what should we do going forward to help advance the conservative issues?
I would say that from my experience, the most important thing is to train people. The reason why you go to spring training in baseball, the reason why you go to mini camps in football, and you spend all those weeks and weeks just fielding grounders one after another and running the plays, is so that you learn the basics of blocking and tackling. And then when you get to the championship game 7 months later, it's drilled into your head. We have had far too many generals in our movement that have sent armies into battle without ever training them how to load and fire their weapon. So I would say train people. How to register people to vote, how to deal with the media, how to turn out the vote. That's number one. Number two, we've got to get with the 21st century. We got out-hustled on the internet and in the blogosphere by the left in 2008. We can't ever let it happen again. I think just as 1932 was the first true radio election, 1960 was the first true television election, I think 2008 was the first internet election, and we've got to get with the program and get as good at the internet as Obama did, as Nixon got as good at TV as Kennedy did in 1960.
This interview will be on the internet.
Great.
Anything you'd like to add?
Just want to thank you for all you're doing. Keep it up. And I think that we'll be in the majority not only faster than the other side thinks, but maybe faster than we think.
Love the optimism. Thanks. Mr.
Okay, you bet. Good to see you.